You know, I'm not filled with awe every day, but I have seen some of the most glorious sunrises. I've seen sunsets, it'd make you cry. And I sometimes think, whatever sacrifices I make to live here, this is why I live here. This is worth it.
The Sandhills are a 15 million acre mixed grass prairie centered in the state of Nebraska. On the Switzer Ranch in the eastern Sandhills, Bruce Switzer and his family raise cattle and operate an ecotourism business called Calamus Outfitters, which hosts the annual Nebraska Prairie-Chicken Festival. But just a few years ago, Bruce's son and daughter weren't sure they would be able to raise their families on the ranch.
After I graduated high school, I didn't really want to leave, but at the same time, it was tough for my family financially.
I was gone and I missed it so much that I was coming back. I didn't care what it took. That's how I ended up starting this outfitters business, is so I could have money to live and eat.
Calamus Outfitters began as a hunting operation, but soon expanded into an ecotourism business. Now Bruce's son Adam, his daughter Sarah, and several employees work for Calamus Outfitters full-time.
I was surprised, I guess, at how fast the business grew and how all of a sudden the Switzer Ranch was no longer known for their cattle. It was Calamus Outfitters, and I struggled with that for quite a while because I felt that I was losing my identity, you know. New ideas come hard, and I think the older you get, the harder it is to change your ways. But you know, it's not about me, it's about the kids. And this business lets them live here. So it was time to kind of get over it, and I did.
As Calamus Outfitters grew, one spectacle that attracted visitors year after year was the mating dance of the Greater Prairie-Chicken.
We were aware that the prairie chicken and the grouse were there, but we never took the time to sit down and watch them. And we took people out for the first time, and I really didn't know what to expect. And the sun come up, and them chickens started booming, and it's like, my God, look what I have missed all my life. I can sure bet my grandkids don't wait that long to watch them birds. No one had thought about having a prairie chicken festival in Nebraska. So we decided, well, let's be the first. Let's do it.
This was a great weekend. This was our second annual Prairie Chicken Festival. I was worried, you know, you always worry about the second year, will it be as good as the first? And I'm happy to say I'm really pleased.
The stars of the festival, of course, are the prairie chickens themselves.
The chickens themselves are characters.
Before the sun comes up, you can't see them, you can hear them. And so that really makes people set up on the edge of their seats, you know, and they're looking through the glass and squinting in the darkness trying to find that bird, you know. And then as the sun comes up, you can slowly hear people, I see one, I hear it, it's right there.
And a female or two will fly in, and I mean, they just go berserk.
They display and they'll click their tail feathers.
And they're displaying with these big orange sacks, and their feathers are up, and they're pounding their feet on the ground.
And they'll inflate their air sacs, and they'll do their booming call. And
you can almost feel the sound waves bouncing off of you. They're chasing each other around, they're running around in front of the female, and they're displaying for her.
They just really make a spectacle of themselves and just try their hearts out, and the female just walks on by. You know, it's so funny.
But the Prairie Chicken Festival isn't just about watching the birds. Visitors also enjoy guest speakers, delicious meals featuring beef from the neighboring Morgan Ranch, and plenty of evening entertainment. Festival guests can also observe the sharp-tailed grouse, a close relative of the prairie chicken with an equally elaborate mating display. On the last night of the festival, locals and festival guests mingle around a bonfire, and share stories about the Sandhills and the prairie chickens.
The prairie chicken really represents something to a lot of people. It's kind of a symbol of the prairie.
This Nebraska Sandhills is the last stronghold for the grouse and the prairie chicken. And you know, this is our bird. This bird doesn't leave. It doesn't migrate south. It's here year-round. We can't put the blame on anyone but ourselves. So if this bird goes away, it's on us. It's our responsibility.
Ranchers know that keeping the grasslands healthy is essential to their business because cattle need plenty of grass for grazing.
Really, if you back it up and look at it, all we're selling is grass. That's what we have, and that's what we sell.
The Switzer family is passionate about keeping their corner of the Sandhills healthy, so they've partnered with World Wildlife Fund to implement conservation measures on their land and promote these conservation successes with events like the Nebraska Prairie-Chicken Festival.
I grew up here in the Sandhills of Nebraska, and my family ranches for a living, and I'm the Senior Program Officer for Ranching and Conservation for World Wildlife Fund.
But a lot of people don't realize that temperate grasslands on the planet are almost completely gone. There are only 4 places left in the world where there's still large, intact grasslands, and this is one of those few places. It's equal to the Amazon, to the Himalayas, to the Arctic in terms of its importance in conservation.
The people that we have worked with, they're good people. Never any pressure put on us that we had to do this or we had to do that or we'd like to have you do this.
WWF's role with the Switzers specifically is that we basically are here for support and to support them in what they do.
Thriving ranches are good for everyone. They keep ranching families together and they keep grazers on the grasslands.
So historically, this landscape was grazed by large herds of bison, of elk. You know, having grazers on the landscape is good for the grasslands, whether it's bison or cattle.
Ranchers are conservationists. They don't call themselves that, but they are.
I think the Switzers are a breed like no other because they knew what they wanted, and the kids knew what they wanted. They knew that they wanted to come back and ranch. That's what they wanted to do. They wanted to raise their kids on this ranch. So they thought outside the box, and they figured out a way that they could bring the next generation back to the ranch.
Whatever we've done or haven't done in the business world, it doesn't mean anything, really. But if all your kids are here and they want to be here, now you've accomplished something.
Everybody has a different idea of what success is. For us, it's being together and being here, and that's everything.
My God, why'd they pick the panda?